I want to clean something up as we've just been notified that there was a disqualification in the men's 400. Jake Palermo, who was the winner of the race on the track, has been disqualified. We don't know the reasons why, but that is now official on the score. It may have been the push, even though, Declan, it's indoor track is a contact sport.
Exactly, Paul. I knew, because I've called these Big Ten meets for years, that there was going to be a protest filed. Couldn't disagree more with the decision, though. I hate to see that. We're talking about athletes running at top speed in tight confines. He established his position in front and was run into from behind. That's a really tough pill to swallow for Palermo. Hopefully he can bounce back in NCAAs.
We don't have the benefit of all the things that are available to the jury that makes that decision, but the Declan Murray jury of appeals would be available for Palermo if he wants to go up a level in the appeals process. We wish him well. He had a great reaction to that win on the track, and no one's going to take away the fact that he was the first man across the line, even though it won't now be official, at least for the moment. All right, racing here in the women's 800 meters. Ella Nelson on the inside, the lone duck in the race. Thinking about that in the context of the fact that Oregon now leads both the men and the women's teams race, but that race between Oregon and Illinois really interesting here as we get into the 11th event to be scored. Illinois just 2 points behind. They have no one in this 800, so Nelson trying to maximize the opportunity here against a pretty good field.
And straight to the front as is usual. Kitching just going to go out and press this pace. Kitching has no problem trying to lead a race from gun to tape. And she's going to push it. Has run 2:01 already this season at her home track. And she's going to get out there, get herself out of trouble too. We've seen a lot of little pushing and shoving in some of these races earlier, 400s, 800s, miles. So Kitching putting herself out there and trying to run within herself, but run a few of the women out of this race.
Emma Kelly about a half step behind, running on that outside right shoulder of Kitching, halfway home in a very respectable 60-35. That is Nelson in third. Matog of Washington now moving up and challenging for fourth and in front of Allison Johnson. So with a lap and a half to go here, everyone seemingly still in this race, but it's Kitching controlling it from the front.
Yeah, and she really poured it on that first lap, going at 29 and then 60.3. So a little bit of a slowdown, 31.7, but I think that actually helps her in the lead here. She's going to have a little bit more in the tank. She hasn't started running that red line yet, but she's going to start pressing it now.
Yeah, pressing it now indeed. She opens up a little spot that Emma Nelson was kind of trapped on the inside. Now coming on the outside, this is Chloe Forrester of Washington with all kinds of run in her legs as she will slingshot and go out into lane 2, and now challenging Kitchen, and will challenge her all the way to the line, and I think by a lean will come away the winner here in a new meet record.
What a finish from Forrester. Kitching, gutsy run going out and pressing that pace, but it's hard to maintain, as we saw in the men's 800. When you go out and lead for a long time, it's really hard to hold on. Forrester able to swing ride, get around Nelson of Oregon, and then be able to push past Kitching at the line. And you see here at that break, it was Kitching, and Forrester kind of tucked back in it and made her move later. Here she comes, starting to make her move on the outside. She manages to get around Nelson coming down the home stretch. And it was just these last 4 strides where they're going stride for stride, but just manages to get a hair ahead of Kitching at the line.
If you want to know what 200ths of a second looks like from head on, that's the difference between a Big Ten indoor title and 8 points for second. There are